I'm going to give these 3 tools the exact same job. Estimate a custom home build from scratch. Same project, same scope, 3 different tools. And I'm going to show you exactly what comes out the other side. No edits, no cherry picking. Because if you've been wondering whether ChatGPT or Claude can actually replace estimating software built for contractors, this video is going to answer that very question. We've been in this industry long enough and speak to builders every day, and we know that estimating a custom home is no simple task. You've got foundation, framing, mechanical, finish work, allowances for materials you haven't spec'd yet, subcontractor markups, overhead profit, and that's before the client changes the countertops 3 times. I wanted to give these tools a real life test, not some kitchen remodel, not a bathroom addition, a full custom home build, the kind of project where a mistake in your estimate doesn't cost you a few $100. It costs you the job, or worse, it costs you money after you've already signed. So here's what I did. I have a set of blueprints in PDF form, but this is it right here. Roughly 3,200 square feet, 2-story, 3 beds, 3 baths, attached 2-car garage, hardwood floors throughout the main level, tile in the wet areas, mid to high-end finishes, the kind of project your typical move-up buyer is building. I gave the same blueprints to ChatGPT, I gave it to Claude, and then I ran it through Handoff, which is purpose built for residential GCs and remodelers. In a minute, I'm going to share my screen and walk you through each one in real time. You're going to see what I typed, the prompt that I used, and of course, what each tool gave me back, and whether any of it was actually usable on a real bid. I'll be straight with you. I went into this without a predetermined winner. I use AI tools. I think they have a place in this construction business, but there's a difference between a tool that's generally smart and a tool that understands how a residential GC actually puts together a number. By the end of this video, you're going to see exactly where each one breaks down and where one of them didn't. All right, I'm going to pull up my screen now. Let's get started with ChatGPT. All right, y'all, here, ChatGPT. I have my plans here. I'm going to show you what these plans are, but I'm going to go ahead and let ChatGPT get started. Can you provide an estimate based on these plans for a custom home build? All right, so it's going to read the documents. Let's see what it does. This is going to take a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and show you my plans here. So this is the house, 2-story home, be about 3,200 square feet. Let's check out what chat's doing. All right, so it's knocked out an estimate pretty quickly. So let's see, based on these plans, it read them, finished living area. So this said roughly 4,200 finished square feet. That's 1,000 square feet larger than what the actual plans are. So first red flag, right? So that's going to throw off our estimate a little bit, right? So it's, it's breaking these up into very broad things, right? So it'd be better if we had something finished living area. Like obviously we're going to need to hire different trades for that, framing, drywall, all the things. I expect the roughly 250 to 340. That to me, it's a big range, but knowing what this house actually, I know what it was built for. This is a pretty good range because it does fall in that range. Obviously, yes, it could be higher depending on all these things. This is a solid budgetary estimate, not a bid. So at least it's telling us that it has some limitations here. Can you put this into a proposal for my client? So let's see what chat does here. So it's admitting to us that this is not a detailed takeoff. So this is a preliminary construction budget proposal. It's a very loose one at that. Obviously, we need to fix a lot of the things. Like it didn't actually read all the plans in entirety. Like it's not telling us how many doors, how many, how much lumber we're going to need. It's making a lot of assumptions, which is fine because I was vague in the prompt, right? And as we know, working with any AI tools, if you're vague in the prompt, it's going to be vague in the output. So, none of these things were added into the estimate. So permit's gonna, a little bit added onto that. Landscaping's huge, irrigation, the swimming pools. I mean, there's another potentially $100,000 depending on where you are. So, if you're just trying to use ChatGPT for your estimates, if you're a custom home builder, there's a ton of red flags here. Could you make it work? Yes, but is it going to save you some time? Probably a little bit. Can you provide a material list for this for drywall only? So here's where I think it could end up saving you some time. So it's telling you can't produce an accurate drywall takeoff from these images because they're not readable from PDF rendering. So big limitation there. So maybe you could use one AI to read your drawings. That's going to cost you a lot of money, and then come to ChatGPT. So you might end up saving time if you're willing to dish out the money for a certain AI tools. But then you're going to just continue to play around with ChatGPT. Can you put this into a spreadsheet? So now how many spreadsheets are you going to end up with, right? So you see where I'm going with this. So ChatGPT, love it for helping with my marketing, responding to customer emails, creating video scripts for my before and afters for certain bathrooms, things like that. I use it every single day. And so here we go. It's giving us a spreadsheet that doesn't really do much for us. So to me, ChatGPT is not great for estimating. Now, like if I had a 100 square foot bathroom, 70 square foot bathroom, I needed a super simple estimate. Yes, I think ChatGPT could probably get pretty accurate with that. But then look, even if I'm doing smaller jobs, I need professional proposals. I need material lists. And, I've had subcontractors write material lists on drywall. Like I'm not going to hire that person again, even though they did okay work. Like I want, as a homeowner, a multiple homeowner and customer for these types of things, and contractor, like I want my subs. I expect the same for me when I'm providing proposals. I need to see professionalism. I need speed. Homeowners get everything so quickly now. If they're ordering a package, like they expect the same from contractors and now from builders. So, and that's just high level. Like this video is about custom home builds, but I know when I started out just doing smaller jobs, and then I've done a bunch of fix and flips, like I eventually want to get into custom home building. So a lot of guys think like that too. So these are things to think about when considering AI for your AI takeoffs. So now let's check out Claude. All right, so we just checked out ChatGPT here. Back on my screen, I'm gonna go ahead and upload my blueprints into Claude, and let's see what we get. I need a detailed estimate based on this custom home build plans. All right, it's uploaded. Let's get it going. And while this is working, let's check out these plans again. Like I said, this house was built and I know everything about it, very detailed plans. And so when ChatGPT was doing its thing, it can read these plans like an AI that is built for residential contractors could. So it's making a lot of assumptions, which, I think we can work on these. We can work with the assumptions rather, because even with the most perfect AI tool, you're going to have to go in and review. So let's see what it did here. Total livable 2858, much closer than ChatGPT. Garage, pretty accurate. Porch looks good. Got the basement, hardy plank. Yep, LVL beams, engineered. All right, so that all looks good. So now it's working on our estimate. So we have ChatGPT. A lot of red flags there. You can use it. I think it can be helpful with certain things, but to me, in construction business, ChatGPT is going to help you optimize your Google business profile, help you with your marketing, your customer communication, your content, your local service pages. You can ask it to help you optimize your SEO, but Claude is really good for that too. Actually, for that, Manus is my favorite, and I didn't include Manus on this. Manus does do a pretty good job of reading construction plans, but I've never used Claude. So this is real-time estimating with Claude. So use all these AI tools every single day for different aspects of my business. Claude, really great at creating SEO optimized content. You can create skills. So for example, in your construction website, you need to have your local service pages, right? So you can have Claude create the content for you to add in your own words, your branding, your personality, and then have it help you optimize it. Like if you have a WordPress site, you can tell it like, here's the plugin I have for SEO. What do I need to do for this post about best wood floor installer in Houston or something like that? So then it will actually give you exactly what you need to do for that WordPress page. And then once you go and like do this back and forth to get just the perfect prompt and output, then you can have it create a skill. So then whenever you go in to create another local service page, all you need to do is tell it, use this skill to create this page, the similar page for ADU building, or doing additions or basements, or attic renovations or additions and things like that. And so, ChatGPT pumped out an estimate really quickly. Obviously, it was way off. So Claude's taking a little bit longer. And when we go to Handoff, it could take even longer. But ironically, like Handoff I do like bathroom and kitchen remodel estimates all the time. And the other day, I actually did a fix and flip reno on a 1,500 square foot house. I used the AI walkthrough feature. So I was walking in, taking pictures, talking through the scope, like LVP here, complete demo, new cabinets in the kitchen, need a new water heater over here. We need to, retexture everything, remove the popcorn ceiling. So literally from walkthrough, talking through the scope, I had an estimate in 7 minutes. So it needed a little bit of review, but within an hour, I was able to send the investor this really professional, awesome estimate for that fix and flip. And so I had the estimate. So we're at like 4 minutes for this really quickly. So, but that includes like the walkthrough, the talking to the scope and all that stuff. So right now I just gave Claude plans. So to me, even if you're using Claude for blueprints, like let's see what it came up with. So the square footage, livable area 594. So what did we get here? 1.1. Also pretty decent here with the range. So let's can you provide a professional proposal? So we still have a lot of vague stuff here. So like this is obviously better than ChatGPT because it broke it down into 21 instead of 4. So we have flooring based on our square footage, but I want to see like what I did. The plans did have wood flooring, but like I need to see like what type of wood, like where is this pulling this information from? Does it know that it's in Austin, Texas? HVAC soup, like we need to see a breakdown of the ductwork and all that stuff. And then electrical, is this included with the HVAC? Because those, are need to be working together. This one did add in landscaping, not like ChatGPT did. This one also did permits and engineering. So that's a pretty good addition there. And we did have a GC fee of $85,000. But where's my markup? Where's my margin? Like, yes, I could tell it to do these things and I probably would get a better estimate. But, when you're having to do all these things, you're having to do it over and over again. Again, I did say with Claude, you can create skills. So if I was against using AI tools built for construction, I could use Claude or Manus, create skills for bathroom, for kitchen, all that type of stuff. And I might be able to get close or similar to what these AI construction based tools like Handoff are giving me. But then I need to wait another, X amount of time for a proposal. And then I haven't even edited my estimate yet. So how am I going to do this? I could keep asking Claude to do it, or I could have an end-to-end project management system like Handoff, you're going to see in a minute, to be able to easily make these edits. Don't get me started on change orders because this just becomes a real big mess. Yes, it's all in one spot. Like I can continue to use this one workflow in Claude. And so I could download this as a spreadsheet. I can try to, create more columns and rows. I'm still waiting for my professional proposal. And then I can, how am I going to send my invoices? Like I want something as a custom home builder, as a GC, all in one place where I can have photos, my blueprints, my plans ready to communicate with clients, to just keep me organized and stress-free. So I'm not going to wait for this. We're already almost 8 minutes into Claude. And so here's what we have here. And I think obviously better than ChatGPT. And now I'm going to jump over to Handoff and hopefully it gives us a better result than Claude. All right, y'all. So we are here inside Handoff dashboard. I went ahead and created a new project, custom home build is what we're doing right here. And let's go ahead and work on a new estimate. So we're just going to upload our blueprints. This is it. I need estimate based on these blueprints. So just like before, I'm not going to add in extra, a prompt to get a better result. I was vague with ChatGPT. I was vague with Claude. So I'm just going to give Handoff the plans and say, hey, give me an estimate. So Handoff is in the process of launching an AI takeoff mode that will do an even better job of reading these plans. So I'm just going to go ahead and plans are uploaded. So let's just let Handoff do its thing. So Handoff obviously built for residential construction. It sources materials from Lowe's, Home Depot, Ferguson's. And so you can go into kind of your back office and say, I typically get from Lowe's or Home Depot. You can change based on your estimate. I've used Handoff for over a year and a half for multiple projects, had it read blueprints for custom home builds so it's asking me to use AI takeoff mode. So that's a new tier that you have to sign up for. But let's see if it's worth it just based on the standard reading of these plans. But guarantee you the AI takeoff of seeing this in real time is a complete game changer. Time saver, super accurate. But anyway, I've had it read plans before for attic renovation, ADU, and it's just amazing at the accuracy of being able to read these plans. I tested it across Manus, never tested Claude until the filming of this video. So that was cool to see the difference between ChatGPT and Claude. I've done a bunch of ChatGPT comparisons, but really ChatGPT is so like vague and it's just not good when it comes to giving estimates that I stopped doing them. Even though ChatGPT is probably one of the AI tools that contractors and builders are using the most. So Handoff built for contractors, and now at this point, even from when I started using Handoff, you can manage your entire project end to end from that first walkthrough. If you're doing like fix and flips or luxury remodels, that type of thing, you could record your meetings with your clients. You can go in, take pictures, talk through the scope. It reads your pictures. It provides a professional, accurate proposal for you to review and edit. And then everything in-house. Send a proposal. You can see when your client opens it. And then you can send your invoice. You can schedule your invoices. A couple of new really cool features are the daily logs and then your client portals. So client portal, huge, keeps you from those like constant texts about updating. You set your client up inside here. I can show you a little bit later. And then each client has a portal for you to send communication, send updates. Like here's where we're at for this part of the project. There was a material delay or whatever. And so you're not constantly, getting texts and calls from clients for updates and all that stuff. So Handoff is still going here. Like I said, obviously, so ChatGPT estimate real quick, didn't even bother reading the plans. It tried to determine square footage and all that stuff, but wasn't very accurate. Claude took a little bit longer. And I know it's just, it's going to take a little bit of time for the AI to be able to read these blueprints. So my point is that the AI will take a little bit longer because this is actually reading line by line, how many doors, how much square footage and all that stuff. Okay, so we have our completed estimate for our new custom home build. And the estimate total came out pretty similar to Claude. A Handoff, of course, I had it pull materials from Home Depot. If you're building a custom home, you're probably going to be getting materials from other places, but they also have Lowe's integration, ABC, and Ferguson's, I believe. The really cool thing about Handoff is how it breaks everything down into every aspect and component of a new custom home built versus, ChatGPT, which just gave us like very general, generic line items, which from there you need to go dig deeper and deeper because you can't give a vague estimate to a customer like that. Claude, a little bit more in depth. We can see that it actually gave us a pretty close estimate, compared to Handoff, which was built actually for residential construction. Millions of estimates, materials, tens of thousands of contractors and builders using Handoff. So the data that they are pulling from is going to be obviously much more accurate. And using this, if you're using the new AI takeoff tool, it's going to be even more dialed in from here. You'd be able to ask it how many doors were in the house, how much square foot of trim do I need? And then of course, like if you're doing crown molding, you can just continue to add and refine your estimate. So yeah, I think we have a clear winner here as far as if we're just looking at the number, obviously, which is like, it's so much more than the number to be able to protect your margin. Then you could say like, well, Claude did a pretty good job. Even ChatGPT gave us a range that is, falls in line with what the actual cost to build this house is. But if you're wanting to protect your margin, have kind of a living, breathing estimate where you can watch your budget in real time, Handoff allows you to do that. And you can see here, you have your material, labor, other for your markup and margin. You can export just this estimate as is, PDF, CSV, convert to proposal. Obviously, once you go through and review everything, you can set up your invoice. You can schedule out your invoices based on, starting a project 10%. And then as you complete site work and grading, foundation, all right, next, 20% at whatever it is that you do as far as your invoicing schedule. You can set your daily schedule for all of your subs, your project manager, provide scope of work, create a material list from this, work orders, and the work. So when you're using Handoff, you are getting an end-to-end project management system here. So I'm going to go to the actual project. So obviously, once I'm ready, I'll put in my client details. A really cool thing about, especially with a new build, like your customers are going to be wanting updates all the time. I mean, this is true for just a simple bathroom model. So once you put your clients in here, you'll be able to create a client portal. And what the client portal allows you to do is every day or every 3 days or every week, you come in here and you update what's happening with the project, what's been completed, where any delays, what's next down the line. And then you can send a link right here to that client. And so they can go in and access the updates without having to call or text you so many times. Yes, obviously you're going to have to update it, because if you say you're going to update it every week, then you should do that. Because then I would expect a call from the client if you are not updating. Just getting in the habit of that, or having your project manager do it. Even you can share with subs, you're able to add in members, your project manager, any subs that you want to do, and then everybody could be on the same page. So like your drywall guy can have access to it, and you can require, kind of as part of the work, to put an update inside the client portal. And so any documents you create, so your material list, any extra contracts you have, any files that you're uploading, your photos as you are working through the job, invoices, scheduling, change orders, which for sure they come up in small projects. With a custom home build, guarantee you are going to have some change orders required. Here's daily log, kind of similar to keeping the client updated. So here's where all of your photos, your notes, any delays, any communication with your team will live, and then stuff that we already talked about here. And so this is the budget, kind of a living budget, where I initially talked about a little while ago. So you have your estimate here. So this, once approved, would show up here. And then, after all of your framing materials, drywall materials, you'll be able to see in real time how much you actually spent. You take a picture of your receipt, the AI will read it, it would add it up here, and you can kind of track your margins and your markup in real time. So there you have it. This is what Handoff looks in the back end, kind of like using ChatGPT or Claude or Manus or anything like that. So like right here, this is my AI teammate. This is my AI agent. I can ask it for a material list. I can ask it for specifically for plumbing. I can ask it to create a project schedule. If you're new to building and you want a teammate to help you, or you're not getting embarrassed about asking, Handoff can help you create all these things and help you stay organized and come off like, looking insanely professional, like you've been doing this your whole life. There you have it. We saw ChatGPT, we saw Claude, and now you saw Handoff, which was built for residential construction. They offer a free trial. Go check it out for yourself. Just upload your plans, talk through the scope. One of my favorite features that has nothing to do with custom home building, but if you're custom home building, maybe you're also doing like renovations or remodelings or additions, you can literally go to the job site, talk into your phone in the app, take some pictures. Handoff will provide you an estimate, just like it did here with adding in the blueprints. And then all those notes all those photos live inside of your project. So you can do your before and afters. You can, have your marketing person go in, take some stuff and help you with some social media content, help you with client updates, protects you. If your client says this wasn't here, or, you're recording your meeting, we didn't discuss this, you have everything. Just ask your AI, did the client say they wanted herringbone tile pattern? And the AI will say, nope, here's our recorded meeting. The client did not specify that. So that's protecting you. You're able to do a change order for that. And so you get paid for your work. And ultimately, this is just about, coming off as more professional, protecting your margins, protecting your profit, and just helping you run a more stress-free, smooth business. So here's where we land running all three. ChatGPT and Claude are impressive. I'll give them that, especially Claude. They can pull together a rough number, organize it a little bit, and they do it pretty fast. If you need a ballpark to get your head around a project, maybe they can help. But here's the problem. A ballpark isn't a bid. It isn't professional. When I looked at what these tools gave me, I couldn't take that to a client. The line items were generic. The quantities weren't pulled from the plans. They were guessed. The pricing wasn't wrong enough to throw out, but it wasn't right enough to trust, right? And in this business, close enough isn't close enough. You're going to end up eating that, profit, right? So Handoff is different. It's not trying to be a generic purpose AI that happens to know a little bit about construction. It's built specifically for residential contractors. It knows how a GC puts together a number. It knows the difference between a bid you send and a number you sketch on a napkin. And the output actually looked like something I'd hand to a homeowner. That's the difference between a tool that's smart and a tool that understands you and your job. If you're a residential GC trying to figure out whether AI belongs in your estimating process, as you can see, the answer is a resounding yes. But not all AI is the same. One of these tools was actually built for you in construction. The other two were not. Link to Handoff is in the description. Go check it out for yourself. It's amazing. It's a game changer for your construction business. And if this video saved you some time or showed you a little bit of perspective, open your eyes to what AI estimating is all about, hit subscribe. We're going to keep testing these tools so you don't have to. You just wrapped up a job, clients thrilled, they're walking around saying things like, this is exactly what I envisioned.